Guys, this video is sponsored by Let's Get Checked. In case you're wondering, this is how I check my testosterone levels. And yes, I'm still much higher than the average man. There's many good reasons for you to get your testosterone levels checked, and the easiest way to do it is with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked manufactures their sample collection kits at their accredited facilities. Your samples will be processed by their network of highly accredited, best-in-class laboratories, and there's a team of physicians to review your results. Here's how it works. Choose from a wide range of tests to cover your health needs. Order with next-day delivery and avoid sitting in a doctor's office. Activate your test and collect your sample in the morning and return the same day using the prepaid shipping label provided. Once your sample arrives to the lab, confidential results will be available from a secure online account within 2 to 5 days. Get your testosterone checked from home. Go to the link in the description and use the code Chael30. That's going to get you 30% off. All right, guys, let's take a moment. Let's take a look at Tyron Woodley versus Jake Paul, right? And this is the most fun. This is the only thing that keeps an industry or a sport, if you even want to call it that, of boxing alive, is conversations like this. Talking about what this guy needs to do and trying to predict what's going to happen, then rubbing it in somebody else's face, tear the cage down, pop the popcorn, set the tent up, and move on to the next one. It's the only thing that keeps it alive, so let's do it. Let's talk about boxing. But you're having a lot of guys starting to weigh in on Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. Gilbert Burns, by example, just did. Now, most guys in Gilbert Burns' spot who have fought Tyron Woodley and beat him are going to predict the guy they beat to beat the other guy, which in this case is Jake Paul. They all do it trying to look like they're being nice, but the real message there is they're shining their own wheels. Gilbert, who would pick Tyron to win after beating Tyron, is trying to get you, the audience, to connect the dots that I beat this guy. So if this guy in Tyron beats Jake Paul, I therefore have now beaten both of them. That is generally the message, but Gilbert went the other direction and he took Paul. Masvidal's weighed in on this. Usman has weighed in on this. Rashad has weighed in on this. And it starts to be very tough for me to get any inside information because the one thing that all four of them have in common is South Florida. That's where Paul's training. That's where T. Wood had lived and trained. Point I'm getting at, these are their friends. The guys you see out around town, or maybe he could hook you up and get you into the club so you go to the media and you pick him. It's tough. Sometimes it's tough to know. Have any of those guys sparred with Jake? If you're picking Paul to win, you live in Florida, he lives in Florida. Are you in the gym with him? Do you pop in and watch him? Do you have mutual friends who are in the gym with him and or pop in and watch him? I don't have the answers to that. I want to. I want to have some kind of inside scoop, but I don't. Nobody ever goes that far with it. They all give their opinion, they all weigh in on it, but they never go a little bit further, go, look, I trained with the guy, and then fill in the blanks. It just never happens. The closest that we've got was Mike Perry, who did spar with Jake and came out of it and paid Jake some real compliments. So it always gets tough for me, but the debate part of it is very relevant. Jake is young and hungry. Okay, great. I got clickbaited the other day, guys. I got clickbaited on one of the dirt sites that I go to that atrocious training footage of Jake Paul had emerged. Atrocious. That bettors everywhere are nervous. The line has moved, which is a straight up lie. The line has moved after the atrocious training footage of Paul. I go click on it. Paul hit a heavy bag 3 times, and it was an old clip, and I had seen the clip before. It had only come out like a week prior, but the dirt sheet that I go to finally picked it up and called it atrocious. Then they had some jerk that apparently knew something about boxing that was going to tell you all the things that were wrong with it. And some of it was that he wasn't tight, right? You gotta be tight. And anytime you get these experts in boxing together, I mean, they would outdo themselves with who is dumber than who. And the only more fun you would have at sitting back, critiquing and laughing at somebody is if you got a bunch of strength and conditioning coaches together. One guy's going to run you uphill for 30 minutes, but the next guy's going to run you uphill for 31 minutes. And then you're going to have the grandfather, the guy who said, I do the hardest workouts. Mine's the same hill, but I make my guys run it for 32 minutes. I mean, you'll really never have more fun looking at a room full of idiots than you will strength and conditioning experts unless you meet a couple of boxing experts. Want to talk about who was tight? This was in the article, mind you. Now, in all fairness, I watched Jake hit the bag. I rewatched it in the video that I was clickbaited on, but I had already seen it before, and it was fine. He changed elevation, he throws it straight, and whoever did the critique didn't see Jake's last fight because that's exactly what he hit Askren with. He hit Askren with it, he changed elevation, he hit Askren again, he changed elevation a third time, got the reaction from Ben, came upstairs and knocked him out. So that straight to the body is very relevant. If you're going to make something and you're in Paul's spot that you're going to release to the world, that's a great shot to do because the world already knows that you're pretty good at it and he didn't have to be tight to get there. All the days I spent fighting, and I had a number of really great days, but I have one day that I took with me and I've never forgot. My coach is a man named Clayton Hires, but Clayton Hires was trained by a man named Kenny Adams. So one day I got to meet Coach Adams, who I'd only heard about. And Coach Adams is responsible for world and Olympic champions. He was the head coach of the U.S. Army. That's where Clayton had met him. Coach Adams came in. We're on the set of The Ultimate Fighter. We're talking about body shots. And I always wanted to land a body shot. You guys ever see those? Somebody throws a jab at you and they slip outside, boom, and they go like a shovel hook right to the body. Jose Aldo, every fight he has, boom, boom, he goes to the body, he comes back with that leg kick. I like how it looks. I always want to be able to do it. I've never landed a body shot in my life unless I've been on top of the guy. And that includes practice. I just can't. So here's Kenny Adams. So I'm asking him different way. I practice every day on the mitts, every day on the heavy bag, every day shadow boxing. I've never landed one, including in the training room. Something about my body, something about the dynamics. So I asked Coach Adams for different setups, and he told me 2 or 3, and he answered this whole question that I had spent years on. He answered the whole question start to finish within 30 seconds. He told me 2 or 3 different ways to get in. He said, but Chael, don't forget, if you walk up to a guy and you hit him right here, it's going to hurt. Thought about that for a second. Yeah, it doesn't have to be beautiful. I don't have to be tight. I don't have to slip. I don't have to set him up. I don't have to use footwork. I don't have to use reach. I don't have to do a goddamn thing. If I can take this hand and hit it right there, I'm going to hurt him. And that was the message of Coach Adams. One thing I had never tried to do. Never tried to walk up to a guy and hit him there. Try to feel myself out. Try to find my way in. Try to reach. I tried to see where he was. I tried to slip. These are the things that I'd been taught my whole life. Coach Adams said those things are good. Those are good ideas. If you walk up to him and you hit him right there, you're going to hurt him. And I just took that with me. I just took it with me, and then when I saw Jake do just fine on a heavy bag, which he was soaking wet, which means this was at the end of the workout, largely part of conditioning, I would guess, and I saw some other jerk, one say it was atrocious, but bring in some scumbag that talked about that he wasn't tight. He wasn't tight. You can't help but laugh, right? I mean, the only thing more comical is when you get the 3 strength and conditioning guys together, and the guy that works the hardest and runs you through the hardest workout has you do the same thing for 60 seconds longer. Next.